Take 4, West Bank Live.
Hi, I'm Jamie Bragg, and I approve of the filming of the West Bank Live video.
I'm Gayla Smith, and we are here with another episode of West Bank Live. We are here at the Buckeye Lake Museum, standing in front of a glass case with remnants of the Black Diamond Canal boat that sunk here in the 1800s, is that right?
1850.
1850. When I was a child, my grandmother was friends with a lady named Marion Miller who lived on North Bank, what we know as 360. We used to visit on Sunday afternoons, and we would go up to the front window, and she would point out a pole with a placard at the top of it in the shape of a black diamond that said Black Diamond Point. She told me the story that a canal boat went down, sunk right there in front of the house. And she used to say, "Can't you see the point sticking up?" And of course I wanted to badly, but I never could. And as a child I was pretty sure it was as big as a cruise ship, but I'm sure that that's not the case. Jamie was a part of some of the pieces that they recovered during the dam project, and I was quite enthralled by her story about how this all came about and how she kind of befriended some of the construction guys and became a part of uncovering an enormous piece of history. And I would like her to tell you about it.
And I appreciate it because it is a wonderful historic story. Just to bring you up to steam, when the earthen dam people were coming down through, tearing up areas along the front of North Bank to make it stable, I remembered about a story about the Black Diamond Canal boat that sunk in the 1850s, right at the area that Gayla was talking about, called Black Diamond Point. It is a very documented story. It's in this little book called The History Illustrated of Buckeye Lake by Joseph Simpson. And he was the son of the man who owned the canal boat. So to make the story interesting, here's what happened. The canal boat was hauling coal. In those days, coal was more valuable than diamonds. That's the name came, the Black Diamond. So this gentleman needed coal, and he needed it in Thornville. And he needed it down there to Thornville, Thornport, to a grist mill. Now, the canal itself, when you came into the canal or into the locks at the Minthorn, and you were heading over to Hebron or you were heading to Millersport, pretty clear area. But to go to Thornport, a little treacherous. But Captain Smith thought he could do it. So he got his crew together, and they got the canal boat, and they headed down the North Bank, which was known at that time as the towpath. Well, they had some really bad towers, like they were kind of bad-looking horses. And they got to a very treacherous point, known now as the Black Diamond Point, and they whipped the horses a little bit, and the horses, boom, they fell down. And they didn't want to go any farther. So the back end of that canal boat sunk out into the lake, hung up on a stump, and put a big hole in the hull. Well, the 4 crew people were like, "Oh no, we got water, we're sinking, we're sinking." And they got it tied up enough to bring it back to the shore, and all 4 crew members got off the boat, and the boat sunk right there. Now, many people came by and got coal, and there's lots of stories in this little illustrated book about the pieces of it, but to bring you up to history, I had heard about this story like Gayla had all her life. I knew that boat had sunk there. And I had heard that, and we had found pieces in 1962. So, when the big dredger started, which I call the long arm of the law, was reaching down out into the lake, and it was bringing up all the bottom, I thought, oh my gosh, maybe we can find the last remnants of the canal boat. So it started down by the yacht club, and I started sucking up to the construction boys, bringing them cookies and donuts, and my friend Kay would help me, and Luann, and we talked to them every day. And I kept telling them, hey, there's remnants of an 1850 canal boat there. And they'd say, sure, yeah, sure, we believe you, honey. Nobody believed me. And as I got closer and closer, I watched it daily, hourly. I was down there with them. And one night in February, about 1 o'clock in the morning, I got a text. "We think we found your boat." Oh, yes! So I ran down there, and they were pulling up huge pieces of our boat. And to put it bluntly, at this point, there have been 400 pieces of that boat found. It is the most significant find in the waters of Ohio in many, many years. They've never found a canal boat sunk like this from 1850. So it's so important to our history and so wonderful that we found it. And they started bringing up the pieces, and we started being happy and screaming, and we're having a great time because guess what? Some people thought, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Well, I knew what I was talking about, and Gayla knew what I was talking about, because local lore is not always untrue. Many times it's true. So we are so proud. We're going to get lots of pieces of it back. We're going to get a model of it in our museum. And I can't tell you how thrilled I was on that day when they called me, like you said, we think we found your boat.
Thanks
so
so much.
your story is right, and Mrs. Miller was right,
Mrs. Miller.
and everybody that knew about it was right. And we found it, we love it, and it's going to stay here as a piece of history from Buckeye Lake.
Right. I'd like to thank you, Jamie, for telling that story, because I just find it fascinating.
It was
To think
wonderful.
about those men, and I'm happy to hear that they all got off.
They all
alive.
got off all
That's
right.
a really good idea. They might have had a little bit of, who
They
knows?
had a little bit,
Little bit
because
of-
after
yeah.
it sunk,
Yeah.
then the guy that owned the mill came back on horseback, and they were all drunk, sitting at the site of the broken canal boat, and they got into a little fight and everything, but, you know,
Well, many
Cole
a
was
sailor
gone.
this has happened to. Many a sailor.
many a sailor.
If you get a chance, do stop out at the museum and see Jamie. Come and see what is in this glass case, and you'll actually see a piece of history right there,
Right
a
there.
plank right from it. Thanks again. This has been another episode of West Bank Live, and we'll see you on down the road.
Bye!
Bye.
Canal boat, yay!
Very good.
Okay,
Very good. Take one, West Bank Live.
and I am Jamie Bragg, and I agree with all the filming going on.
Okay, good. What the hell was that? Do it
Okay.
again.
It all started really back in the early 1900s. Oh, cut.
Don't beat around the bush. What's the trouble? You need a little push. What's the trouble? With elegant speech. Don't you lecture? Don't you dare preach. If I want your life story, I'll check out the book. If I look like a librarian, it won't take a second look. What's the bottom line? What's the bottom line? I want a neon sign. What's the bottom line? Your tales and your novels are all overdue. All the fines are enormous. I'm just waiting on you. What's the bottom